Good morning, folks, and welcome to Money Truth Moments with Judy Copenbarger. I am your host, Carlos Garcia, here with the amazing Judy Copenbarger. Good morning, Judy. How you doing?
Good morning, Carlos. I am perfect. Good to see you.
You too. I am so excited. It's a beautiful day. Sunshine is out there, and I'm even more excited at the fact that today we're going to be discussing the integrity wheel. So I actually, folks that are tuning in now, you have to stick around. Make sure that you share this also with your friends, family, somebody that needs to hear this too. So there's a lot of great content that we're going to be talking about in the integrity wheel. So stay tuned for that. First of all, thank you for joining us this morning. Make sure you are sharing your stream. Make sure that you are following Judy at judycopenbarger.com. We've got a lot of great things coming up this new year. And before we get started, I know that we have some new viewers. We have some new audience as well too. I want folks to know a little bit about Judy. We talked about this before, way back in the beginning, but I think it'd be nice for folks to know what got Judy started in this, and how is this driven, been part of your journey towards your legacy as well too.
Wow. I love that question. And if you are new to our program, welcome. I'm so glad you're here at the beginning of this amazing new year. A lot of us were happy to say goodbye to 2020, and here we are in 2021. So welcome, welcome. By way of background, I've been in law and finance and tax and all that for many, many years. I've served clients fully regarding their personal finances and small business finances for about 40 years. Don't do the math, but it's been a long time, since very early 80s. And I have just had the most blessed business practice and the most amazing client community all these years. So over those years, I've learned a lot about what works for people. I've learned best practices. I've learned best ways to describe a philosophy or a strategy to people. And I've learned different visuals that help people understand, and different stories that help people understand concepts, which can be really daunting sometimes. Particularly in the legal area, there are concepts that can be so convoluted and so complex. And just simplifying those down into a story really helps people. And learning, even the difference between a stock and a bond, and, how much you should invest and how interest works, and how much cash reserve should I have, and what kind of insurance is. All of those things can be boiled down into very simple stories and very simple visuals that are memorable, that help people understand the concepts and not get bogged down in it. So that's become my work. That's become my legacy. So I've collected all of these stories that work, and all of these ways of communicating that work, and I put them together into an online mastery program that helps people learn. They can take a class or several classes and learn how to do that. I've also simplified a lot of those concepts into a book called Money, Truth, and Life that people can just pick up on Amazon right now. It's almost free. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just get the basics covered. And just it kind of helps you have enough fundamental information to know where there might be a gap and where you might avoid a mistake. So that has become my legacy. I'm excited to share this information with the world and with people that are looking for these answers. And really the reason that I created it is there's a vacuum. It's not out there. I mean, you can learn, how to invest your money, or how to do Bitcoin, or how to buy a stock, or what somebody thinks is going to do better than something else out there in terms of investments. And you can probably go online, or go to the stationery store and write yourself a will or a trust or something. But there's more to it. And so this is information that helps people navigate all of that information out there well. And because it wasn't there, I decided to put it together and make it available. So this is my legacy. I'm glad you're part of it. And if you're brand new, welcome, welcome.
Great, thank you. I appreciate that, folks. And again, make sure that you are following Judy at judycopenbarger.com. I'll get into some more details on the website and some of the resources. But speaking of resources, I want to make sure that we have enough time, because I love the fact that today we are going to be discussing the integrity wheel. For those of you who don't know what the integrity wheel, I'm going to let Judy here in a moment explain to you what this is. And she's got some great content. So you better make sure you have a pen and paper ready, or pencil, whatever it is, but you need to take some notes, because you don't want to miss this. Take it away, Judy.
Okay, so the integrity wheel, if I were holding a bicycle wheel, big bicycle wheel, like off the 10 speed that we drove around when we were kids, you would notice that the outside of this wheel has rubber. That's where the rubber meets the road. And then there are all these spokes that are attached to a hub in the middle. And the visual that you're looking at right here are some of the aspects or some of the parts of life that you have. And my story goes like this. When we're on a journey and we're on a bicycle and we have our wheel going around to get us where we want to go, if something happens to one of our spokes, like it bends, it becomes compromised somehow, or it breaks, that's going to impact the next spoke. It puts more burden on the next spoke and then the next. And so if you have this series of spokes that are broken or bent or compromised, it impacts everything. And I would propose to you that our life is a little bit like that, where we have all of these compartmented areas of life that really, they're really collaborative. Our areas of life cannot be separated. They all are part of these spokes that go to the hub in the middle. So if one part of our life is disjointed or is not functional or is not optimized, it's going to impact all the other parts of our life too. If our home is not in good order, it's going to impact our relationships, perhaps our finances, perhaps our health. If something happens at work, all of a sudden our job is gone. That happened to a lot of people this last year. All of a sudden we don't have our work, we don't have our income. That's going to impact all these other areas of life too. But the inverse is always also true. So if you restore integrity to a spoke, to an area of life, it also has that impact on the other spokes or the other parts of your life. So if you create a relationship or optimize a relationship that really needed to improve, all of a sudden you might have a clarity for a download of a great idea for business. All these things impact everything. So when you're looking at the spokes, they're not independent. They're all working together. And whether you're working toward integrity or away from integrity, all areas are impacted. So when you think about the areas of your life, what could I do better? What could I do more of? What could I do different? Everything's going to impact everything. So it has this like trajectory that changes. It becomes, instead of just a little bit better, it becomes a whole lot better because all these areas of life are improving at the same time. And that's the power you have when you're thinking about the integrity of each of these areas of life. And there's a dozen or so right there on the wheel that you can see. I just recommend that you look at those. And there are other areas of life that might not be shown here. But just think about, what could I do better for 2021, right here at the beginning of the year? What would I like to improve? Which area of my life do I really want to end the year going, that was the year for that part, and have a transformation?
No, this is great because it also ties into what we started talking about, which is our 2021 goals. So I'm glad that you're sharing this with everyone because this will be helpful, especially starting out this year and really do some great planning.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is the year to set those goals. Imagine the end of 2021 when you look back over the year. What would make me say that was the best year ever? What areas of my life do I really want to have a great big impact in or a great big transformation in? And look at that. And that might be the focus for one of your goals this year.
Excellent. So what key areas can you share with us for about this integrity wheel that maybe we start off? Maybe we'll go through them all, but maybe choose a few that you'd like us to start, considering focusing on and just to be able to help with our 2021 goals.
Oh yeah, pick the easy ones. Low-hanging fruit. We love low-hanging fruit, right? Two of these are the easiest ones because they don't necessarily involve other people. Like if we look at relationships, for example, other people kind of have to be involved. I mean, you can forgive other people and you can do your work, but if they're not cooperating, it's a little bit more weight to pull. But the two that are the easiest, in my experience working with people for a long time, are finance and faith. Those two don't require any other people. So let's take finance to start. Oh, and fitness and wellness is another one. It's a little bit easier, but not, simple, but not easy, or we would all look like,
Right.
But let's take finance. So there are 5 pillars of finance. There are a couple that are like the defensive part of the game, and then there are a couple that are like the offensive part of the game. So let's look at the defensive first. You have the legal entities, wills, trusts, powers of attorney, all those legal documents that help protect you. Contracts with your business, contracts with your real estate. Those are entities and business instruments that help you protect what you've accumulated. You also have insurances that can help protect what you've accumulated. They can also protect things like your health, so you don't end up spending all the money you've accumulated on a serious health issue, or even life insurance to make sure that the mortgage keeps getting paid, even if you're not here to do that. So there are all these defensive things that we can do. Then you have taxation, and I would put that in the defensive because when you plan well, you can minimize or mitigate a lot of taxes, which means there's more money for you to achieve your goals and look after your family and fund your business. And then there are offensive things that we do. So there's cash flow and reserves, and then there's investments. And investments don't have to be just stock and bonds and IRAs. They could be a 401k and traditional investment accounts like that, but also real estate and also business interests and all these entrepreneurial ideas we have that turn into cash flows. So those are the 5 pillars of finance. Again, that's one of the easiest spokes to straighten. You just say what's not working and then do something more better or different in that area. Maybe you need to improve the amount of cash that you have in cash reserves. People who had cash this past year weathered really well. People who did not have access to cash or did not have adequate savings, a lot of them really got into trouble financially. So that's one thing that you can do. Make sure that your investments are optimized and the investments that you have are using all the tax-free and tax-deferred options that are available through IRS. And there's a lot of great things that you can do. You just need to know about them. And again, Money, Truth, and Life, the book will help you understand if you're not sure what's the difference between a 403b and a 401k, a traditional IRA, a Roth IRA. What's the difference? What should I be doing? That book will help you understand some of those distinctions. So those are some things about finance. Now, faith is so easy because you don't need other people. So if you're a faith-based person, you already have a relationship with God, your version of God, right? All of us have this interpretation. For me, it's a personal relationship, and that just makes all the difference. I don't know how people without a belief or a faith get through the day. For me, it's just so much peace and so much hope. Um, Things like community. If you have a faith belief, or if you have a community of people that share your faith, that's going to be the community that has the deepest connection. Spiritual connection is just amazing. And it's been a little tricky this year because a lot of people weren't able to physically be together. But I see all this innovation and creative ways that people are getting together online. They're social distancing, getting together at the park. I'll sit here, you sit way over there, and just doing things, doing drive-bys and dropping off goodie bags and things for each other. Community is very important. Things that you can do in terms of philanthropic endeavors, helping other people, making a difference. This has been a great year for people to look around and say, some people don't have it as good as I do. What can me and my family do? What can I and my family do? What can we gather up the kids and help do to make a difference out there for people that are not so well off or they're really struggling right now? They're in transition. Things like what faith does is kind of centers you. It helps you be present. It's about focus. Some people find a lot of value in prayer, in meditation, in just being still, just being quiet and just listening to what God has to say to you. It's that focus that can bring so much, especially the beginning of a year where you're setting goals and you're really refining the activities that you're going to add or do more of this year. A lot of people will fast at the beginning of a year. Our family is doing that. Whether it's a great big fast where you don't eat anything, or if it's a fast where you just fast something, you give up something to help bring that focus. That can really help you become centered and focused on what's next for you. So those are some things that might be on the list if faith is one of those spokes that you would like to add activities to or strengthen. Another one that comes to mind briefly is just the spoke of fitness, health, and wellness. This is a
Right.
great time of year to pull out the calendar and say, I need to get my doctor visits in. I need to schedule those blood tests or those, annual exams that I need to do. Just get them all on the calendar and get them over with. Things like taking supplements or increasing the quality of the supplements that you take. A lot of people like juicing. That's a nice way to get good nutrition. Thinking about the diet that you're on. Should I be getting more green? Should I be getting less meat? Would it be smart for me to go vegan or cut out dairy? What can I do to improve that spoke with the intake that I have? Are you drinking enough water? It's so easy. Well, again, it's one of those things that's simple but not easy. Getting enough rest. Do you sleep enough? And many of us don't. So is that something that we could work on? It's like put on the calendar to go to sleep, right? But when our brain is going and we're entrepreneurial and we've got family and kids trying to do school on the table at home and all this stuff going on, are we really resting enough for our body to be able to regenerate? Do you get outside? Do you get enough fresh air? How about vitamin D? Are you out in the sunshine a little bit every day? And maybe you could combine these. If you're working on your faith and you want to have prayer time, exercise time, and sunshine time, just take a walk in the morning or in the evening every day, make a new habit. So those are things that you can do to help straighten these spokes. And again, when you straighten one spoke, it's going to improve the quality of life in every other area of life and straighten those spokes as well.
That's awesome. I also know that as I've read through, been reading the book as well. There's two sentences that for me really were very powerful that you wrote on here, and one of them was, and you touched on this a little bit on there, was that every spoke impacts every other spoke, and also that everything affects everything. And when you look at the wheel, the connections that are there, it's one of the things where I wish that we had just dedicate an entire workshop just for this, because the value of what you're sharing, it's like this puzzle piece that all of a sudden is starting to make sense, And so I'm glad that you're talking about this. I also would like to see if you can talk a little bit about one of the things that also stands out in the wheel is the impact on the world. And so, folks, if you're just joining us, we're here with Judy Copenbarger. If you're not following Judy, please do so at judycopenbarger.com. Her website has not only her platforms for social media, but there's a lot of videos and resources. So the reason I'm bringing up the impact on the world, it's because if you look at Judy's website, there's a lot of information and resources available that will impact your life. It will change your life. We've talked about in the beginning about Judy's legacy with this, and I want to know, I should ask, tell us a little bit about your impact in the world, and give us some thoughts on how we should be looking at impacting the world through the integrity wheel.
Yeah. Well, that's one of those spokes in my life that's very, very close to my heart. I love the impact. And I think it might be from just experiencing a lot of life. I'm not as young as some of our viewers. It's from just my heart. It's about legacy and the life print that I want to leave. Like, what will they say about my work? What will they say about my parenting? What will they say about my ability to love people and make a difference after I'm not here? What will my grandkids say, about what I was all about? What will they say? What will they feel when they remember me? Right? So a legacy is not something that you leave. It's something that you actually create purposefully. So when I'm looking at the wheel here, you have impact on your community. That's serving your neighbors, looking out for your neighbor next door, looking out for your church family, looking out for the people, the coaches of your kids and your friends and things like that. But then you have this impact on the world. And what I mean by that spoke is, when you're gone, who were you for the world? Who are you being for the world? What do you stand for? What do you believe in? And what do you share with other people about your beliefs? What's the connection that you have? So if you're faith-based, it's about helping other people enjoy that journey as well. If you are really into fitness and wellness, it's about helping other people be as healthy as they possibly can. And maybe if you're a physician or you're in the medical area, you want people to be really healthy, enjoy longevity, and feel good while they're doing that. All these different areas of life coming from our expertise, when we want to help other people optimize their life, straighten their spokes, that's when we're having an impact on the world. And that's when it's more than just, like, for me, I'm coming from law and money. And so our technical expertise is in that, helping people free themselves up so they don't think about money every day. Yeah, our clients don't think about money because it's handled. They know the bills will be paid, their goals will be achieved. They know what their money's doing. They don't have to think about it, wonder about it, wish they hadn't made that mistake. It's already handled. So now they're freed up to go do their purpose. What was I created to do? Why am I on the planet? What should I be doing with my time rather than reading the Wall Street Journal or looking over my papers all over the dining room table and preparing for taxes? That's all handled so they can go live their life, take care of their business, take care of their family, and have an impact on the community at large. That's what that spoke means to me.
No, and that's actually very powerful. I also wanted to, since we're talking about this too, and we're talking about the impact on the world, I want to go back a little bit to talk about your book, Money, Truth, and Life. Mm-hmm. Folks, if you have not gotten the book, you guys have to check it out. And congratulations, by the way, because I know it's the #1 bestseller on a lot of platforms, including Amazon.
Thank you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you can still get this book on Kindle for 99 cents, correct?
That's right. That's right. We want the world to have it. Absolutely.
And that's the impact, again, impact to the world. It's part of your legacy. You guys need to, like I said, follow Judy at judycopenbarger.com. Make sure that you take some time to explore her website. You will find where to get your copy of the book. If nothing else, it's $1, folks. Download it to Kindle. It's a life-changing book. Also in the website, there is quite a bit of videos and resources and topics that you touch on as well. They can lead directly to your YouTube channel, which has a wealth also of free resources. So can you talk a little bit about, and I know we're kind of pressed for time, but can you talk a little bit about the book and also the online mastery program as well?
Sure. Yep. Money, Truth, and Life online mastery program is available through judycopenbarger.com. There's a link that goes right there, Truth About Money. You can get in there. And it's a wonderful course that is set up for you to be able to learn about all the pillars of finance. If you want to learn about retirement programs, if you want to learn about trusts, and there's so many kinds of trusts, if you want to learn about all the kinds of insurances and how to create a spending plan or a budget, how do I create that? How do I know how much I should be spending on my housing every month and my groceries and my entertainment and my hobbies? How do I know I'm doing it right and I'm optimizing everything that is coming in? And if you're a reboot, if you've lost your job, if you had to close the doors on your business and you're trying to figure out what to do next, there's information in there on how to create that. Where do I start and how do I optimize that? How soon should I set up a corporation or not? So all those kind of things are in each pillar, many courses. Right now for viewers, we have 1 week free. There's 7 days free. If you subscribe to the course for 7 days, you won't be billed. You can go in, take a class or two, or as many as you can in a week, and get out if you don't want to pay at all. But most people will stay because the information is so good, and it's not information you can listen to one time. You'll listen to it one time, and then you'll be living life a little bit, and then you come back, and now all of a sudden it's relevant. I didn't hear that before, right? So that happens all the time. But I invite you to go visit it, see if you like the style, see what the impact is on your personal finances, learning the stories and hearing how the relevance ties in. Once you know the principles, how do I do that at my house? That's the answers that you will get.
Excellent. And folks, again, follow Judy at judycopenbarger.com. You're going to be able to take advantage of the free offer that you have for the week on there. Take advantage also of purchasing the Kindle book or purchasing the actual book, because I like the physical touch of the book, so make sure that you get it. And also, if you have questions, please leave them in the chat below. We'd be more than happy to address this at another time. I am going to hope that we get back to the integrity wheel in some later episodes as well, because I think it's very valuable, and I hope that you guys are taking notes. So with that said, we'll come to our favorite part of the show. And it's our Money Truth Moment challenge. I love this part.
Me too.
Uh,
Here's your challenge. We're talking about the integrity wheel, and I am anxious to hear from you, Carlos, which spoke you're gonna pick. So, with all of those areas on the integrity wheel, your first of 3 steps, your first step is to pick one of the spokes on your wheel that you really want to work on. What area of life do you really want to take some action on and improve? So, if you went and you rated all of them, scale of 1 to 10, which one is like a 3 or a 4 or worse? It's like that one needs growth. So, pick one of those. The second thing is list 3 activities that you can incorporate or do more of that will help strengthen that spoke. What 3 things can I do every week or every day that will improve that relationship spoke or that finance spoke or that wellness and fitness spoke? What can I do? And then do something today. Take action. Do a little something today that is from that list of items that you are going to do more, better, or different to increase that area of your life. That's your assignment today, and it should lead into some really good goal setting for 2021.
Oh, that's awesome. We've got some comments also. Folks are enjoying the show today. Somebody had a little bit of a problem reaching the website, so we'll make sure we get back to you on that as well too.
Good.
But I love the challenge, and actually looking at the integrity wheel, I can see a couple of things that just jump out at me, and I can see definitely some things that I need to work on, which is also a great reminder as well too. So I can't wait to share this with you next week also. Folks, make sure that you guys are, again, took notes. If you haven't, if you arrived late at the show, welcome. Make sure you watch the replay. You don't want to miss all the great conversations that we had today regarding the integrity wheel. We covered faith, we covered finance, we covered fitness, fitness and wellness. This has just been a very jam-packed show, but very valuable in all of the resources and content that Judy has provided. Again, always sharing her wisdom, and we're very fortunate. And I speak for myself, and I'm sure I speak for others, that you're willing to share that wisdom to better our lives, and so we don't find ourselves in this struggle, moving forward. I know folks are getting close to the age of retirement. We cover some of that as well too, but make sure that you follow Judy, send her a message, send us a message on the show, put it on the chat, and we can address some of the additional questions on that too. I want to thank you again for your time. We're here every Tuesday morning, folks, 8 a.m. Judy, any last parting words?
Oh, just make it a great day. Work on your spokes and just wait and see what happens. It's amazing. And it's so good to see you all today.
Great. Folks, thank you for joining us today. This has been another great episode of Money Truth Moments with the one and only Judy Copenbarger. Have an amazing week, Judy, and I look forward to speaking to you again next week.
You as well, Carlos. Enjoy.